Dish podcast. We're still here at T-Mobile Center, but unfortunately the Cyclones lost 69-63 to the Baylor Bears on Friday night. It was a tough one. There were a few times where the Cyclones, it looked like it could have gotten out of hand, but they kept fighting and only lost by 6.
Yep, it was really back and forth. In the beginning, we started off pretty slow. We only scored 17 points compared to Baylor, who scored 22. But we ultimately kind of fell apart in the fourth quarter where we just couldn't get the ball rolling.
For sure. And talk about the opening quarter. I mean, Baylor started on a 10-0 run, and then it eventually got up to 16-2 only in the first 6 minutes. Can you just talk a little bit about how that kind of hurt the Cyclones and what happened after that?
Yeah, Bill Fenley really encourages that we get an early start, which is what we saw when we played Arizona State. However, that just didn't happen. Baylor was super great offensively. They shot 50% in the first quarter from field goal range, and honestly, the only thing that could get us going was Audi Crooks, who scored 11 points in the first quarter.
For sure. And to end that quarter, the Cyclones went on a 9-0 run to bring it within 5. So although the first run that Baylor had was tough, the Cyclones really bounced back and ended the quarter strong. And then the same thing happened in the second quarter where Iowa State went down 14 and then ended it with a 9-0 run. So, I mean, same thing repeated itself, but the way that Iowa State continually bounced back from those tough deficits was really, promising for them.
Yeah, it was really impressive to see. Like, we would go really long stretches without them doing anything, and then all of a sudden they would hit like 7 in a row, I think happened in the first quarter, which is really great to see. We saw a lot of different players contribute, but mostly coming from Audi, who ended the night with a team high of 32 points. But then we also saw Emily Ryan and Addie Brown step up. Addie Brown didn't step up as much as we thought was going to happen, considering her last game where she scored 41 points. She only ended this night with 6.
Yeah, for sure. And Audi, 32, that gave her the Iowa State single season record for points in a season. So really cool to see that. I mean, you talk about Ashley Jones, some of the greatest Iowa State players ever, and Audi's right up there with them. But like you mentioned, Addie Brown, only 6 points, had 41 yesterday, and she also had 9 turnovers. That was really alarming to me.
I know. After yesterday's game, Baylor kind of made it a habit to kind of have her as a target along with Addie. They set her up with Kyla Abraham, who ended the night with 2 points, but she had a big focus on Addie, who eventually fouled out at the end of the fourth.
For sure. And Kyla Abraham, the Baylor head coach, talked a little bit about how it was maybe the best defense that she's seen her play in her career, which of course happens against Iowa State, a little unfortunate, but she really stepped up to the challenge, and Bella Fauntleroy also played really well against Addie. 2 for 11 shooting, 9 turnovers for Addie. It's just, that's not what you want from what Iowa State wants to be their star player along with Audi.
No, it felt like they were kind of missing a lot. They felt a little out of sorts. Like, usually we're a little bit strong on the 3-point. Today we only went, 20%. We only made 2 shots, which is a little rough, but good thing we had Audi. But if we had that whole consistency around the whole court, I feel like we could have done a lot better.
For sure. Yesterday we saw Addie hit 5 threes, Sydney Harris had 3, and then tonight it was just 1 from Sydney and 1 from Ariana Jackson. The Ariana Jackson 3 was huge. That was when Iowa State took their only lead of the game. Can you talk about how the crowd reacted to that and just what that meant to the team?
Oh my gosh, it was so huge. And we saw Ariana's family come out, which was great. They had a whole section, but this point basically made them go up to their first lead of the night. I believe it happened in the third quarter. But they went up by 1 point. But the crowd just got loud, and the crowd, Hilton South is what it's called,
yep,
came out really good for the whole time that we've been at the Big 12. But it was just super promising to see.
For sure. And Audi in the post game talked about how Ariana was a little frustrated yesterday. She didn't score yesterday against Arizona State, and that 3 was her first points of the tournament. So it was a very timely 3, very important shot to make. But after that, it was just a little tough for Iowa State to put anything else together.
Yeah, absolutely. They were caught in a lot of interesting positions, and I felt like the refs were a little interesting, to say the least, but I think they gave it their all.
For sure. And Emily Ryan, it was her final Big 12 tournament game. She fouled out, and I think in those last few minutes without her, we saw how much Iowa State struggled without her, just turning the ball over, trying to force it to Audi, and nothing was really there.
Yeah, it's going to be it was an interesting preview to see what the next couple of years are going to look like. We had Reagan Wilson, who is the current freshman, going to take over Emily's place, step in. She didn't really do anything. She had 2 rebounds. But it was interesting to see the different dynamics happening on the court.
For sure. Seeing Reagan and Eiley come into the game, their first time playing in a Big 12 tournament game, I mean, that's a tough spot to be put in because it was in the second half against a really good Baylor team. But the fact that Reagan went in there, even put up a 3, that's got to be somewhat promising for Coach Fenley. I mean, seeing them go out there and just be fearless.
Yeah, it's got to be worth something. And honestly, the amount of pressure they were probably under and just coming out with so much confidence on the court was really great to see.
Yeah, and the Cyclone offense obviously didn't play as well as we wanted. Audi, 14 for 18, but outside of that, not much was going.
Yeah.
But, it's hard not to mention Jada Walker for Baylor. She ended the night with 18 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals, and was consistently pressuring the Cyclone ball handlers, made life very difficult.
Yeah, she was everywhere on the court. She was definitely a really big challenge for the Cyclones, but she just really held her own. It was great to see.
For sure. It was tough for Iowa State. Turnovers, the inability to score outside of Audi. That was kind of the story of the game.
Yeah. Overall, though, I thought we did really well compared to last time we played Baylor. They came in with a sole purpose, and they completely did great.
Absolutely. Well, now the Cyclone season is in the hands of destiny. Selection Sunday is on March 16th, and as of now, Coach Fenley believes that the Cyclones deserve to be in it. In the postgame, he said, "I'm not in the room, but some of the teams I hear that they're talking about, tell me where and when, and we'll show up and play you." So Coach Fenley has a strong case for why the Cyclones should be in, but at this point, they can't do anything else about it.
No, and Audi was right there with him, saying period and everything to the sentence. So
Yep.
I definitely have a lot of confidence going in.
For sure. Well, that's it from the Big 12 tournament at T-Mobile Center. Thanks for watching. I'm not sure what Brett says, but like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah.
Yeah. See ya.